When we first arrived, I was deeply impressed by the dimensions of the destruction. All around the place was an overwhelming mess of trees, plastic, metal, concrete. So basically, everything that was on the ground in the airport and to the, let's say, the outskirts of the town of Tacloban city was wiped away by the storm surge and by the powerful winds. And this picture stayed with me throughout the entire mission. And in order to, let's say, to go, let's say, even further, the amount of bodies lying on the street, some of them in body bags, some of them out in the open, and also let's say animals and let's say all the death that was all around the place. And there was still mud. The roads were inaccessible. Only a 10 kilometers road from the airport to the city hall you will do it in something like 5 or 6 hours. The one that chose to stay after the disaster passed, I mean, they were trying to restore their normal life as in a, let's say, decent conditions as possible, and they were trying to clean, they were trying to rebuild their houses and make a shelter for themselves. And that's, let's say, immediately in the aftermath of the disaster was, let's say, very striking from a positive point of view. We witnessed the incoming tropical storm Haiyan from our emergency response coordination center, and through our monitoring tools we saw it coming, and we knew that it will strike with an immense power, creating a massive storm surge. However, having benefited of being also deployed on the ground, you cannot compare, what you can have technical projections and scientific calculations with what you see actually on the ground. When you see let's say the destruction and then we see the suffering in people's eyes, you cannot compare these two. On a personal level, I have to say that I was very much looking in what could I do more. What would be my added value to alleviate people's suffering and to support the international humanitarian efforts for coordination. So every day I was waking up with a small virtual banner in front of my eyes saying that support the Filipino people. And I was striving throughout the day to give my best, my energy, my knowledge, my skills in order to do it better. For my colleagues back home, and not only from the European Commission but also from other agencies with responsibilities in disaster prevention and let's say emergency response, let's try to invest more effort and resources in prevention. I think it will pave the way to a more, let's say, to a safer society and more resilience. This was a deeply emotional mission where, through the nature of our assignment, we were sitting very close to the people affected by the disaster, and also very close to the rescuers, to the people that were offering assistance. So having these images, let's say, on a day-by-day basis is affecting you somehow, and those memories stays with you weeks and even months after the disaster. One thing that stayed with me was in the first days was the desperation in people to leave the place. The one that had a place to, let's say, to move, they were queuing for days at the airport, at the distracted airport, to catch a place in a plane and go in Manila and go to a neighbor island. So, and those are desperate situations. There were people with let's say kids, with small kids, and they didn't have water, they didn't have medical and sanitary facilities in place, and that stayed with me weeks after that.